By the way, JP Dice is posting pictures of himself at 43,000 feet. Actually, not pictures of himself. Pictures of the scenery at 43,000 feet as he flies from Birmingham to like Colombia.
Isn't it great? I'm so happy for him.
I think he's
between him and Damon Johnson, I know there's hope.
Yes, that is so funny. Yes, they are men of hope.
They are men of hope. They're doing exactly what they love, and good for them. And they're good guys.
It is. It's funny. It was just a little local thing. And Wes Wyatt, who is the meteorologist, who's now is now the chief meteorologist at our Fox. Good for him too.
Yeah.
He's sort of the quarterback in waiting.
Yeah.
And now he's got the whole thing. It's all good. We're all good.
You never know. Always trying to make things happen for ourselves, right? And so you try to put yourself in the best position, use resources and networks and this, that, and the other. And sometimes things have to happen, normally, things have to happen to other people in order for you to get what you need.
Yes.
Like you could be waiting forever for something and work your ass off and get passed over 1 million times, and all of a sudden someone gets hit by a truck, and next thing you know, or get hit by a truck, and next thing you know, you got their job.
Did you happen to see the footage of William Shatner? There was the footage of William Shatner when he came down and he was talking to Bezos, which actually I did not like it. It took Bezos a long time to read the room. I did not like, because he's like celebrating with champagne and he's talking. I'm like, you got a 90-year-old man, Captain Kirk, who's crying.
Yeah.
But then Captain Kirk, William Shatner, did a couple of the news shows last night.
Yep.
Oh my God, I think it has completely changed who he is. Like on every interview. He's a pretty dramatic actor and he always has been. But
I think
he was crying.
I think the one thing that really affected him was that he thought he saw death. He said,
I agree.
He said, I'm 90 years old and I don't know. I may have just seen death, and you could. He was sensing his own mortality, and I think it really everything just kind of came together, and it was you know what it was? He saw the light.
I know.
He died for a brief moment. He saw the light, and everyone you talk to, it's a beautiful thing, and I felt this warmth that I've never felt before.
He's like born again.
He experienced death.
Yeah, right.
And had a chance to talk about it, and it's beautiful.
You watch him on these interviews.
Yeah.
And he is just like you said, he's a changed man. And I love to see that. I love to see people who just have been through something and,
Can't keep it together, man. No. I think it was great.
He's got an album coming out. What is his album? What does he do? Have you seen this?
He had an album out in the 70s.
No, he's got another one coming out.
No doubt.
Does he sing?
And that was the first time, because normally we see him all dapper, and he does this the show In Search Of on the History Channel that premieres tonight, I think. And it's a great show, and it's kind of like the Spock thing In Search Of from the 70s. And it's really good. But again, he's 90 years old, and he's very articulate and methodical, and uses
But he's always been that way.
It's great. But then to see him just being William Shatner and how fragile he is getting off the thing. He's 90 years old.
I know.
Good for him. George Takei, you know who he is?
Yeah.
He has had a little bit of a riff.
Sulu? Yeah.
He's had a little bit of a riff with his on-screen captain for years.
I didn't know that.
And he dismissed Shatner's flight yesterday.
Oh, come on.
He said he's boldly going where other people have already gone before.
That's funny.
Snark Takei, who's 84, when I asked him about his thoughts on Captain Kirk's brief trip, he said he's a guinea pig. He said 90 years old, it's important to find out what happens. He said, so 90 years old is going to show a great deal more on wear and tear on the human body, so it'll be a good specimen to study, although he's not the finest specimen at 90 years old, so he'll be a specimen that's unfit.
Oh, come on. Back off, Sulu. Stand down,
To
Sulu.
which William Shatner bit back.
Okay, good.
There's a psychosis there. There must be something else inside George that is festering and makes him unhappy, that he takes it out on me.
That sounds like
why would he go out of his way to degenerate me? It's sad. I feel nothing but pity for him.
You actually sound like Captain Kirk a little bit there.
Yeah.
That is. Oh, come on, George. You can go up there too.
Come
on, Bezos.
You know what it is? It's grumpy old man.
That's exactly.
It's an 84-year-old and a 90-year-old wanting to meet in a parking lot somewhere.
I think Bezos should take Takei up there. Is everyone else dead?
Well, it's interesting you should bring that.
Are the rest of them dead?
No, actually, the majority of them are alive. There's only two in the entire, I think there were 7 of them. There's only 2, Spock, and there's one other that are dead. All the other ones are still alive.
Is the doctor? Now I'm blanking on his name.
McCoy.
McCoy. Did he die?
He died.
Okay.
He died, and then Spock died, and I think there may be one other one.
Scotty.
I think there may be 3. Scotty. I'm not just do
Kurre?
I don't know. And then Takai's the gay one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's yeah. So
Uhura dead?
Huh? You think he was the first gay man in space? That's what Bezos should do. Have we had a gay man in space yet?
Well, I don't know. You have to ask them.
Well, we've had a lot of astronauts go to space, so I'm assuming one of them is gay.
Yeah.
We ever had a lesbian in space? We ever had a transgender in space?
Not that I know.
Has Dave Chappelle ever been in space?
Well, you know what's so funny is now this is going to become, right? This is now becoming possible, right? Because they were interviewing an astronaut, a NASA astronaut, and he was commenting. They were saying, you saw William Shatner's response. What was your response when you went out in space? And he was kind of talking about it. And then they asked him, do you think this is good? Or is this sort of like a stunt or whatever? And he said, I thought this was a great response. He said, anybody who has the opportunity to go to space, it changes them.
Yeah.
And it gives them a perspective. And he said, the more people we have who have that perspective, the more we're going to think about our world differently. That was the first thing. The second thing he said, which I thought was great, just from a technology standpoint, he's like, with the way these rockets are formed and with the way we can save the rocket and it doesn't just explode when it's done and it's coming back, he's like, we are watching something that's going to become mass produced.
Yep.
Like we've crossed over to, of course it's expensive, but we're getting now where it doesn't have to be a one-shot deal. Can you imagine? You and I have talked about this. I still don't understand the elevator thing, but I do. But the elevator space would be amazing.
Yeah, I think over the next 40, we may not be here to see it. But
we got to be here. We'll be the 90. You'll be the first 90-year-old.
I better hurry up. I got 35 years.
Oh,
it could happen. Yeah, 35 years it could happen. And again, it could be one of those things. What are you doing today? Oh, we're going to take a space ride for 10 minutes.
Ride, right? It's like a balloon ride.
$250,000. But you have to remember that when we started flying 100 years ago, it was way too expensive for most people, and people thought I'll never fly.
Right.
Because it's impossible. Well, now everyone flies, or at least we try, because it's gotten kind of expensive.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
So Prince William had something interesting to come out.
That William Shatner?
Kate Middleton's husband, and is not happy about this whole situation. He said that we need some of the world's greatest brains and minds fixed on trying to repair this planet, not trying to find the next place to go and live. He said, repair our planet first. He said it was quite crucial to be focusing on this planet rather than giving up and heading out into space and try to think of solutions for the future. After he was asked a question about William Shatner going into space, he also mentioned climax anxiety among the new generations who believe that futures are basically threatening the whole time. It's very unnerving and very anxiety-making. He said, I don't like it. And he goes, and quite frankly, I have no inclination to go into space because I don't know what the carbon footprinting is on this thing. He says, I have absolutely no interest in making the trek and question the carbon footprint. He said, why are all these wealthy billionaires funding all this space travel when we have plenty of things to do here? To go to your point.
That's an interesting. I didn't think of the carbon footprint. I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, no, I mean, so I was going to
a lot of things being burned.
I was going to disagree, and I was going to like it. Part of the way we do save this planet is to have people go in space and look back and have epiphanies, not 90-year-olds, but sort of figure it out. But I didn't think about it's that whole. Are we making more damage by sending more people up in terms of the carbon footprint?
Kind of feels like we're mailing it in. Like we know we're going to have to move eventually.
Oh, move. See, I'm not thinking. You think I'm not? I don't think about this as colonization.
No, but I mean, there's a reason why this is not just a joyride. We're going up there to explore different areas of our universe, not just. I mean, for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think looking at our little planet from 66 miles in the air, a lot of people go, I look at the Earth totally different. It's our little baby, and it's like holding back a child and going, it's very fragile. And the second thing is, I think eventually we're going to have to figure out we're either going to move underground or we're going to have to move up. And the fact that we're even thinking about moving at this point.
And that's what William's saying, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is like having a $200,000 house.
Right.
And you got $200,000 to either rebuild it and make it a better home, which is going to help your community, or spend $200,000 on exploring another neighborhood, not knowing what it's going to cost. And we're getting into this. I don't know if it's politics. I don't know. I don't even want to go there, but there's this feeling right now from a lot of people, and this really disturbs me, really bothers me, that the rich are supposed to fix everything right now. I mean, we have politicians saying, tax the rich. That's right, the rich. Who's the guy out in California? That's right, the rich are going to get screwed on this. And he even said it the other day. He was hanging over some embankment or something saying, we're going to tax the rich. They need to pay a lot more than the rest of us are because they've got the money to do so. Well, that's horse shit. Mm-hmm. Just because Bezos or Zuckerberg or anyone else is worth billions of dollars, I'm not going to. They made their money. They worked hard for their money. They did what they get. Now, in a perfect world, if you're responsible and you're community based and you want to help your, I get, and they do that. I mean, as far as I know, they do that. There's a lot of wealthy people that give away a lot of money for wonderful causes.
We can't
Bill Gates, another one.
We can't mandate what you give to, right? So that,
but just because you're wealthy and I'm not, doesn't mean that when we go to a ball game, you're supposed to buy me dinner.
No.
And I think and there's a feeling in this country right now that because there are more, I think there's like 1,200 billionaires now. There used to be like 1,200 millionaires. There's 1,200 because all these people got all this money, that they're supposed to be funding all these things to make my life better to live or to help the earth. Now, if they have created an industry and say they're part of OPEC or whatever, and they're making millions of dollars by ruining our environment and our atmosphere, then I kind of get that. But just because you got more money than I do doesn't mean you're picking up the tab
I think the thing that to me it's the tax loopholes, right? I mean, that's the thing, and I don't mean anything illegal, right? Because you're playing. If you're going to tax the rich more, to me it makes more sense to say, we're going to give the wealthy less opportunities to pay no taxes. It's loophole, because loophole isn't illegal.
Yeah.
And everybody has the opportunity to use it, but you only have the opportunity really to use it if you have a lot of money. And I think that part, I'm okay with that. So if that becomes more taxes on the rich, I'm okay with that, because all you're doing is we're not giving you that easy out. Now, people argue against it because if we don't do that, then prices are going to go up because they're going to pass it down to the consumer, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. There's not a person on this earth that doesn't do their taxes that doesn't figure out their own little loopholes.
Yes.
And
but you have more loopholes as you have more money as an industry, you have more loopholes.
You have more to protect, and so you're going to be saving a lot more by utilizing those loopholes that I would use, whether I'm counting my mileage or writing off my cell phone because I'm working from my home or whatever it is. We all don't want to have to pay any more taxes than we have to, and as long as we're paying our fair share, I'll make an example. At my church, we have a budget. If everybody in our church just put $1 in the basket every Sunday, we'd have more money than we know what to do with.
That's because you all do. I told you all do it wrong.
Well, we got 2,000 families, but if every person in church put $1 in, meanwhile you got people tithing, which is fine, and they're putting $200 a week in the basket, and we're still under budget. So if we're all just paying our fair share, and that's where we get straight taxed, and I'm not going to go there because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Whenever you see billionaires and they get tax breaks, they get free land, they get all these different things because they're bringing industry into particular areas. I mean, I get it. I mean, as a business person, if I had billions of dollars, I'd be doing everything I could to save my money too.
I also think that right now,
but to make them pay for all the things going on right now is ridiculous.
No, but I think that right now there's a confluence. You said it's a timing thing. I think right now there's a confluence of bad juju around all of the billionaires. So like if you think about it, you got Zuckerberg is in big ass trouble on Facebook, and he's a billionaire. Mm-hmm. You got Richard Branson. Branson did it right. Like Bezos, I don't know what it is about Bezos, and maybe this is just me and the vibe that I get from him.
His face.
It is. He looks. Face, man. It's like you know what it is. He's like a nerdy geek who made it. This is great. Look, I am I am an Amazon every single day. Mm-hmm. But he has this arrogance look, particularly with the space, and he's doing the champagne, and he's got the aviators, and I'm like, dude, just you got to tone it down a bit because what Prince William says, like, okay, you're taking it to space, it's great. I mean, even Elon Musk has this it's just a little, but then he's smoking dope. It's like y'all need to be more like Buffett, like just you're too much.
Yeah.
You're too much. We know you got a lot of money. Stop doing big things with big pomp and circumstance, because it brings the attention, and it's not positive attention. And Zuckerberg, Zuckerberg's not a over the top character, but it's just, if you think about all those things happening together, the Bezos thing really he needs better PR consultation.
I mean, first of all, I don't think he really cares.
No, I don't think he cares.
And I know that he's given a lot to charity. He's done a lot of wonderful things, and he just went through the divorce.
Well,
so
and she's given. Well, yeah.
And she's given away billions of dollars.
Well, she's giving away more than he is.
I think it's his look. I think he's snarky looking.
Maybe that's it. He just looks.
He's bald, and it's just kind of like there's something just not right with him. And it looks like Branson looks like an old hippie kind of dude, and so I think we kind of dig him. And he's used a lot of his own money to fund a lot of his own things.
Well, and he's British, so he sounds better.
You know, he's failed miserably with Virgin Records, with Virgin Airlines. He's done all these different things. I think he's a little bit of a quirk that he's building these balloons and flies around and gets stuck in the mountains and stuff. But that's his money; he can do whatever he wants. Zuckerberg still kind of reminds me of this young Opie-looking kid that's got more money than knows what to do with, and he controls the world.
He's a frat.
Yeah, I would love to be able to fly on the wall in a private room with him and somebody else. And then Elon Musk again is just an anomaly. He's just kind of weird, and he's brash enough that you really can't. You just kind of like, he doesn't care.
Warren Buffett is what I was saying.
Warren Buffett's just an old curmudgeon guy that's invested in Coca-Cola his entire life and railroads, and he's going to be a billionaire because of it, because he's in for the long haul. You'll never see Warren Buffett on the loop. You know what I mean?
No,
I mean, he's all about.
He also lives in the same house.
Drives a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So
that's like, Warren, you got to get a better car.
Yeah. But it's amazing to me how many people I've been around. Well, he's got the money. Why doesn't he just do it?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, just because he's got the money doesn't mean that. I don't know. That just bothers me. I've always been. If I'm around someone I know is not in I would be more than happy to pick up the tab. I will do whatever I can do to help, particularly if I'm the one inviting that person. But just because someone's got more money than me, I don't expect them to flip the bill for me.
No, and they do have their charities and their philanthropies that we know about. I was just thinking like the Chan Zuckerberg initiative. Chan is his wife.
Yeah.
Gives away billions to the Gates Foundation. So I mean the Clinton Foundation, all of it. By the way, you hear about Bill Clinton?
Yeah, I know. He's in the hospital. He's on the mend though.
He's on the mend.
Yeah. He's got syphilis, right? No, gonorrhea. He's got herpes.
No, he's got urinary sepsis.
Oh, sepsis.
Which, when you use the sepsis, I just saw the breaking news. Yeah. Former President Clinton hospital sepsis. That's like super bad.
Yeah.
But it's urinary sepsis, urosepsis. Yeah. So it was urinary.
I got a sepsis tank upstairs.
No, it's a He had a urinary tract infection that went to the blood, which I mean that shit'll kill you.
Yeah,
that'll kill you. But then you hear what they said, and I don't know how I feel about this, but I understand. They had him in ICU.
Yeah.
And, so people are like, okay, he's got sepsis and he's in ICU. He's gone.
Yeah.
And when they said, well, no, we had him in ICU more. I mean, we're monitoring him, but it's more for privacy. It's like, I know.
You think there was somebody else that didn't get a bed because of COVID?
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking about. I mean, if you think about all those hospitals and of all the places that are filled up, it's the ICU beds. So, what did they do? Carve out a wing for him?
Oh, I'm sure.
Because he didn't have a roommate
where
with
was
COVID.
Hospital?
It was UC Irvine.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be fine. Sepsis ain't going to take down Bill Clinton.
No. Bill Clinton has, in a very different way, he's got the Jimmy Carter, he's never gonna die. He may get real sick and look real sick, but I feel like he's one of these guys that's just gonna keep going forever.
He probably will.